My name is Harold McMillian. I'm the founder, director, CEO for the East Austin Creative Coalition, nonprofit art and culture organization that's been working in Austin a long time, I think 35 years. But at this point, the progression of our organizations constitutes the longest lived Black art and culture nonprofit in town. And we have been the steward of Kenny Dorham's backyard here on 11th Street, where we are right now, for the last 20 years. It was supposed to be a temporary license agreement because this was supposed to be developed decades ago. So we've been holding space here since then, and my organization and myself have been trying to basically hold space for Black folks, Black culture in Central East Austin for the last 25 years or whatever. I feel it's important on 2 or 3 different nodes. Culturally, people are known by the stuff that they produce, their products, their music, their food, their dance. Some of us, the way that we walk and shake hands and run businesses and make money and raise families and go to school and church. All of that stuff historically was intact in Central East Austin because of insulation from mainstream Austin because of Jim Crow, segregation, the city plan of 1928, ignoring the Civil Rights Acts of 64, 5, and 6, Voting Rights Act, et cetera, et cetera. The city of Austin officially got an urban planning firm based in Fort Worth in the 20s to come and study the Negro problem in Central East Austin. And the city adopted that plan of what to do about the Negro problem, which also included the brown problem, Mexican problem. And the city of Austin, this liberal bastion, adopted that as city's policy. And what that meant was if you're Black or brown and you live in Austin, you're working stiff or you're God or Jesus. If you need to go to a park or school or swimming pool or pay your utility bills, you have to come to East Austin to do that. So what that kind of isolation, insulation, boundary does is that it also promotes the growth of healthy internal communities because it's just us. So I came here a long time ago as a graduate student, social planning and policy, blah, blah, blah. And my thesis work is on this neighborhood. And I got into it because I'm a musician. I play blues and jazz. And when I got to town, when I was getting back out in the scene to play music, I wanted to hang out with the old black hats that they're the masters. And all of them had stories about this strip and 12th Street and Weberville and 7th Street, Rosewood, because there were joints, there were cafes, bakeries, all of that. And by the time I got here around 1980, this strip that used to be a vibrant commercial corridor had been bought up, plywood over the windows, whitewashed, and it sat here. All of these properties sat here until the market turned around. Market turns around and the gentry moves in, and black folks start getting disappeared from their homes, from their businesses, because if you're barely hanging on and you ain't got but $3 and somebody offers you $5, you might take that, you know. So I got interested in this work because of the recognition of the really deep and significant cultural history of black folks, brown folks in this neighborhood, by the way, which was never segregated because we don't do that. I got interested in the work because it was disappearing before my very eyes, you know, and the city was complicit in that.
That was my next question, how you got interested in the work. You gave it to us. And so
Hey, cute girl, what's up? Four? Four what? You're all matching. That backpack, your shoes, your tights, and your top, and your barrettes. You're a fashion girl. Oh, and your bracelet. And you're interrupting my interview right now, but you so cute. Is that your mama? Yeah. Pretty in pink. What's her name? Good to see you. Thanks for coming to our place.
my last question is funniest memory here and or favorite memory
Here.
Yes, at Kenny Dorham's backyard.
I have three.
Okay.
And not funny, but like top level. God, this was good stuff. So we hosted Ross Day here, their first several years. Lots of music, a lot of folks, vendors, and a good mix of music. But one year that we hosted them, they got the Sun Ra Orchestra to come and play on my stage. And I mean, I know people associated with Sun Ra's band. There's a guy based here in Austin who works with them, tours with them. There's a dancer here in Austin that works with them. But Sun Ra's been dead for a good number of years, but that organization is still thriving. They're out there. The leader of one of the leaders of the band, Marshall's 100 years old, I think. Plays saxophone, reads, woodwind. And I think he's still touring. And that made me feel so good. So that was actually two. I was confusing them. The other thing that just hit me really hard, that I was really proud to be here, hosting an event, a show, a festival, was Kiko Villamazar's Wepa Festival. And I think basically Wepa means dance, sing, party. He's Colombian. So it was a festival of Afro-Latin music based in that comes from Colombia. And I'm kind of smart about that stuff, but I learned so much with that one festival because he also brought, along with the musicians, like a dance group of these sister girls all dressed in white with head wraps on. And they were doing this traditional dance from the mountains in Colombia, but it was West African as all get out, you know, and it was just really special, significant. Me as someone that thinks I know a lot, to see that those threads are connected. Um, and we hosted those festivals, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, but really great shows. Um, Third thing, although I said that the other one took care of it, one of the joys of holding this space is, although our money is messed up and we're just, get up and go to work and try to do the hustle, this is a huge lot, and we're able to do gardening here and do large-scale murals, host the neighborhood organization if they want to have a party or something, live music, families, kids, families. So I don't know if y'all are doing some B-roll out there. Part of the reason that these events that are like those other two that I mentioned, this is not about getting drunk and like nightclub music venue action. It's a community gathering space. And it makes me really happy when I see young families in here with kids running around and playing. And, so today is one of those days that makes me proud that we are continuing to address our mission.
So grateful. That's great. Any last words, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I should say this. Another piece of like connective tissue to this story is that the whole point of getting this venue and focusing my organization's work, which would have been Diverse Arts and then East Austin Creative Coalition, the whole point of this locale is that this is the main business corridor of the African American Cultural Heritage District. And some folks know, not everybody does, but I conceived the district because I had this stuff in my head that would line up and play out over time. It wasn't supposed to take 20 years. So I came up with the district concept around 2000, proposed it to a nonprofit developer here in the neighborhood. They kind of passed on it. A couple of years later, it came up as part of the African American Quality of Life Initiative process, which was initiated because as Midtown Live was burning, Austin cops and firemen were going on their radios and doing text messages saying stuff like, "Glad this gonna be over, burn baby burn." So that initiated this whole city soul searching of how they deal with Black folks. So there were all these recommendations that came out of that. That slate of recommendations, that was not just art and culture, but it was police and medicine and public, that kind of thing. The city adopted the designation of the district in 2007. It is now 26, because the city didn't do anything for that entire amount of time except give one organization not enough money to do the job, put together a think tank, a working group, and we ultimately put together a political campaign, wrote a resolution, did a whole bunch of politicking, and took that resolution to the city in 2021. And in September of 2021, that resolution was adopted by council. And that resolution instructed the city's appropriate departments and the city manager to get on it in developing the district, it provided authorizing legislation for the Urban Renewal Agency, Urban Renewal Board, to put out RFPs for these 2 remaining parcels of city property. This one that we've been sitting on, the other one down the street that's still
18 and 16.
vacant. Yeah. But that resolution said, y'all need to put some cultural infrastructure on East 11th Street and some affordable housing. 5 years prior to that, I'd written an RFP to the Austin Economic Development Corporation for a cultural center, for the Kenny Dorham Center, that included a main stage performance venue and galleries and a cultural history archive and a dance studio and a music school. That was adopted in, I think, 2020. Once we got here with the resolution for the developments, then the cultural center resolution ends up being locked up with Pleasant Hill. So there's a development group doing the overall development, but within that, our organization, East Austin Creative Coalition, is developing what, I'll be damned if it's not a world-class, nationally significant art and cultural institution that's based in music, that's about the history of Black folks in Austin. So that's where we are right now. And it's kind of like 2 parallel streams running at the same time, because my other hat is not the Pleasant Hill hat, it's the Creative Coalition hat. But now those projects need to come together. So that's where we are right now. And that's why this season is crucial, most important for the 20-year history, because this is our last season. What we do here this year has to be significant. It has to hang in people's memories, and it has to help us get on a lot of funding and philanthropic folks' radar, because the city is not upping enough money to actually do what needs to be done with the cultural center. I probably should stop there.